Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. Using girls on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys blues, 1975.
Welcome to another arcade versus home port. In this video we'll be taking a look at Turbo Outrun in the arcade, well obviously hence the name of the series, against, yeah, the SEGA Megadrive version, and or Genesis version, because it never got released in North America, and one can only feel it's because it's very, very poor. Pretty sure I rented it from Ritzy Video back in the day and was utterly disappointed with it. But basically this game series I like to concentrate on some of my favourite and some of the greatest arcade machines, you know, out there, and also I'm trying to work my way through as many of Sega's seminal sprite scaling games as I could, because as you know, if you watch this channel, I have a particular soft spot for sprite scalers. This is by no means, you know, my favourite version of Outrun. I don't think it's anywhere near as iconic or tugs on the nostalgia strings as the original, mainly because of the changes they made to it. It's kind of a more serious racing game. I'm not a massive fan of the Turbo. You race against one main opponent who's in a Porsche 959, I believe that's him on the left there. But the big deal that pissed me off about this, and many people back in the day, was that it had no branching routes. They removed branching routes, which is one of the, you know, the most enjoyable and iconic parts of the original Outrun game. Plus, as much as I like Ferrari F40s, and they are my favourite Ferrari of all time, pretty sure they never made a convertible one though, but by all means correct me on that, it's just not as iconic as Testarossa. The music's not as good, but it's a good solid racing game, and better than a lot of other sprite scalers by other companies out there. I do not dislike it. I think if you played and fell in love with Outrun, you'll agree with me that it just doesn't hold you know, anything compared to the original. And as I said, but we'll talk about that more when we get to the Mega Drive version, because there is a Mega Drive version, hence this video. What were they thinking? What absolutely were they thinking? Anyway, let's put some money in. Obviously there are loads of home ports, not just the Mega Drive version. I've covered the Spectrum and Commodore in, put some more money in. You race right across the entire state of America, by the way. Oh, go with automatic. Yeah, I did a comparison video of the Spectrum versus the Commodore recently, and the Commodore version, you know, gets a special nod and particularly well known for its amazing music. There we go. Because changing your transmission is that easy. Right. Turbo gauge directly beneath me under my car. Speedometer, speedometer as we say over here. There's that Porsche 959. Nice brake. Your turbo doesn't sound like a whine or a whistle. It sounds like you just blown the entire back box off your car. Now, quick it is. By the way, this was released, as I said, in 1989 as a standalone arcade machine, or as a kit for the original Outrun. Whether you could reverse it or not, I do not know. It's very nice graphics, there's no denying that. It goes at an absolute rate. There we go. Overheat, goes at an absolute rate. Technically more impressive, I would say, because of the size of the skyscrapers at the start than the original Outrun. It's just, like I said, I don't know. It's just, maybe it is a nostalgia thing, I really don't know. Well, it probably is a nostalgia thing. It's just not, is sort of, there's no level of romanticism about it, if that makes sense, because you've got to understand what a big deal the original Outrun was when we first saw it. The music's not as good, it's not terrible music. Like I said, I do like this game a lot, but best to play it or talk about it when you're not comparing it to the original Outrun. Sounds a bit harsh. Oh, there we go. Weather conditions as well, aren't there? Come on, show me some weather conditions and don't prove me wrong. If you turbo when you're in mid-air, you should fly. I've just decided that. Water on the road, is that a Corvette? There's my main opposition. When I bought this on the Spectrum, as I mentioned in my previous video, they gave me a massive die-cast model of a Ferrari F40. Favourite Ferrari of all time. Still looks stunning. Bog standard 911 is beating me. Why don't you put your hood up? And by hood I mean in England. Roof, not bonnet, because then you won't see where you're going. Well look, it's the Ice Palace from Die Another Day. What a god-awful movie that was. Irrelevant! It does look nice. Shies and balls. Oh! I know, I want it to overheat. Same jokes as before. Possibly the only thing keeping me and my bird warm right now. Push start button, yes. Because you run out on the home course. Thank you. You run out of continues on the home course, on the home conversions, which is a bit pants. Not sure about the Megadrive version. That just is a bit pants, period. But it's important that I do a comparison video because I'm trying to do as many of these sprite scalers, as I said, as I can. Because they are without doubt my bread and butter of the arcades back in the day, my favourite thing about Sega machines back then. I love your Shinobis and your E-Swats and stuff like that, but I think it's safe to say every summer holiday when you went to a new arcade knowing that they would have the latest Sega stuff, you went to see what shiny, tasty and delicious sprite scaling games they would have. I mean, you've got their own rail shooters, like Afterburner, Space Harrier and stuff like that, that are iconic, but you can argue for sure that these driving games are nowhere near as linear. Well, maybe this one because it's got no roots, but obviously you have more control over your vehicle and stuff. Look at that. And just moving around, avoiding shit, finding your face. Because you're driving is the term I'm looking for. Look at that. I was trying to read the sign. Not the greatest idea there, Dave. Yeah, I'll have another go. Well, I'll continue. I would say it's a little bit more unforgiving than the original Outrun. What do I know? I'm constantly trying to get a white stick. Brake. Can you even brake when you're using turbo? Because obviously this isn't a regular turbo, this is just a big fucking Batmobile sheet of blast and flame that comes out your ass. Oh, it's the old Bill, I forgot about that. To mention that the old Bill will try and catch up with you. Do I get nicked? No, he's gone after Porsche boy. Let's see if I can catch him up. The only time ever you want to catch the old bit up. The Rozzers, if you will. Where is my time? Top right. Top left. That's my lap, top right. Time counting down top left, that's obviously my opponent. Not the bad guys, you know, the thing I have to beat for the level. I'll learn to get a clue in a minute. That's right, real men turbo when they're on snow and ice. Ooh, I would like a change of music. Yes, we'll just round off this credit. Yeah, like I said, it's a very nice game, it's a very good looking game, it's a tad unforgiving, the music's not as good as the original, but that's its problem. It will forever be in the shadow of its original. I know they returned to form with Outrunners, which I have a gameplay of as well, where because people wanted the branching tracks back and stuff like that. So I don't honestly know how well this did. Change of scenery? Something other than white would be nice. We're invulnerable. Do you know that? We're X-Men and shit. Oh, ooh. See that, Porsche boy? This is a really long, big, snowy state. Porsche? Corvette? I'm going to use this as my horn. Hey! No, I'm not. It's back in. Man, these sprite skates are awesome. Such a simple, well, I'm not saying it doesn't have horsepower, you know, with the graphics and stuff, but such a simple idea to get around, you know, 3D when you couldn't really do 3D. There you go. Where are we? Indianapolis, otherwise known as the Sun. Well, there you go. Sigh. He takes a big sigh. Let's look at the Sega Megadrive version. So here we go, this is Turbo Outrun on the Sega Megadrive, released by Sega in 1992, but not in North America on the Genesis. One can only feel, look at his face and look at her face. His face is like, oh, I'm sorry, that never happens, and her face is a look of massive disappointment. Now we know why he drives a Ferrari F40, but he's got no other chance with the birds whatsoever. Anyway, one can only think this wasn't released in North America because they were ashamed of it. Now, from the outside, when you see the title screen and stuff like that, you might think, because look, you've got your gauges bottom left, your overheat gauge top right, your layout of the screen is similar. I mean, it doesn't look amazing, but I've seen a lot worse. You've got your turbo shifter at the bottom, or your gear shifter. You might think, well, it looks like it does a reasonable job. All you've got to remember is play the Top Gear games on the Mega Drive and play the original Outrun. I'm not sure why they put no effort into this. Is that Kate Winslet? Yeah, I'm not sure why they put no effort into this, bearing in mind how much, you know, what a good port the original Outrun was. The original Outrun was obviously 5 years late to the Mega Drive because it came out in 1991, and the colour palette was a bit squiffy, which has been fixed in the ROM now, but it was a very, very impressive, decent representation of the arcade down to the music and everything. And I slightly prefer the PC Engine version because there's something about the angle of your car in the Mega Drive that's slightly off, but I would say the Mega Drive's a more impressive version. But the point being, look at the colour palette in this as well. Drab much? Yeah, the point being, Outrun is a fantastic port. What was this, just wood banging out there? 34 quid, someone's bound to buy it. We'll make a couple of bucks. Shame on you, Sega. Shame on you. Now, I've tried to talk you down so you've got no real expectations for it. Let's begin. Start. But here's what I mean about package-wise, right? So you got your title, you got your map that looks like the arcade. You go into options. We're on easy because, well, I'm a cheat. No, easy. You got your sound effects. Why is it worth putting that in there? And you got your music. Which, to be fair, some of them aren't terrible. They're just not as good as the original one. So yeah, it looks like, you know, some effort's gone into it. But yeah, brake, accelerate, turbo, gear change. We'll be going with auto because you can go with auto in this. If you do want to shift, you shift up and down on the D-pad because accelerate and brake are buttons as is turbo, so that's kind of cool. That means you don't have that god-awful leaning forward which you had in 8-bit games, which therefore will compromise your steering. But this is an 8-bit game, so why am I talking about that? If you did manage to get your hands on this in North America, I'd love to know what you think, and also anyone else who did anywhere else around the world. I rented it, certainly was never going to buy it after that. And I also rented it because, like I said, I may have sounded a bit critical and harsh. Speech is rubbish in this. This is an arcade machine. Speech is rubbish. But, you know, I did like it and I wanted a decent home port. Look. Oh shit, that's turbo. So gauge bottom left, shift to bottom right, which we don't need. Press my turbo, brake. Complete lack of roadside objects, which you could also say, well, it's the Mega Drive, but the original, they managed that on the Mega Drive. Hell, look at the PC Engine version, which is just a very lazy port. Your car bears somewhat, oh, that's so choppy, I feel nauseous. Your car spends somewhat resemblance to the arcade. Small mercies, I guess. At least your turbo sounds like you're blowing the back off your car. Here's the thing though, right? Oh, that sky effect. Oh, it's so choppy. By the time you see the direction you want to turn, so shit doesn't find your face, it's already past you and is in the previous state. If you look at the road, you won't be able to see it. I can barely see it. But the striping effect on the road to give you the indication of speed, which is the easiest way to do it in these sort of games on inferior hardware. They're two similar colours, so that's completely wasted. Have I noticed undulation yet? Like dipping? I don't know. Complete lack of cars. Again, you're saying, Dave, you're being harsh. Let's look out for the more from Dawn of the Dead. Yes, I made that joke again. You're being harsh. But it's like, no, there are other, oh shit, you know, racers on the Mega Drive that do a far better job. And the PC Engine. Like I said, look at Outrun on the PC Engine. Look at Power Drift on the PC Engine. And then obviously look at Outrunners. I reviewed that or compared that a few videos ago. Yes, there's no way it's going to cope with the hardware in the arcade that was running on. But the way around it was to fully sort of represent the arcade modes. How slow is this car and how short are the stages? Granted, that's because I'm on easy. Yeah, it's just fully represent the arcade mode and work within your limitations. This could have looked a lot better. This is just a poor, lazy port. It's 92 at this point, Sega, so it's not like we're worrying about the 32X or anything like that. Maybe the Mega CD. Hell, why didn't you put this on the Mega CD? Look. Well, at least we got to see some undulate. No continue. Colour palette awful. I cannot believe it doesn't give up. Why? It's like they don't want you to do it. Well, they know how shit it is. So by just making it end quickly, I won't play a lot more of it. I never took games back in the day, but I would have taken this back for sure. Right, so another go. See if I can stay on the road. Yep. engine though is pants. Ooh! Yeah, safe to say this doesn't look like the original stage, does it, on the arcade? Again, if you're saying I'm being harsh, I just keep putting myself back to Exhibit A, the original Outrun on the Mega Drive. Or maybe I have a stronger love for that game than other people. Can you flip the car? Have I flipped it already? Oh, the way the skyline, or the city line goes by makes me want to throw up. Never in my life have I seen such a photorealistic portrayal of Washington DC. It's like actually being there. Yeah, look at the versions of Road Rash on this and how they chuck around amazing graphics and shit and sand and stuff. Get out of the way, you lorry bastard. It just looks poor, and not just that, but it plays poor. Right. Yoink, and sounds rubbish. Apart from the game over theme, although that might be because you know that sweet releases here. Maybe there's some of you out there that like this. I mean, obviously taste is subjective. Oh look, there's your bill. Where were you the first time? And why aren't you going after my mate? He's breaking the speed limit just as much as me. Why will my £180,000 sports car with a 3-litre twin-turbo engine not get by a Chevy Impala? Just saying, these are questions we all need answers to. So yeah, I mean, maybe you like this. And good for you. More power to you. All I can say is, although I would have taken it back, is I'm glad that there was an opportunity to rent this back then and not buy it. Lesson learnt, Ickle Dave. Lesson learnt. There you go. That's all I can stand. I can stand no more. Turbo Outrun arcade versus I was going to say Spectrum, SEGA Megadrive. Do you know what? The arcade, it's not my favourite version of Outrun. It's a very, very solid, impressive and great sprite scaler. It just lives in the shadow of its parent. This, on the other hand, lives in the shadow of its parent, not because it's not as good at racing, but they just made nowhere near as much effort. This is a lazy, lazy port, and shame on you, Sega. Anyway, as always, I'd love to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Told you the end of music was a sweet release bit. I'll see you later.